Friends of Science are asking the Alberta government to look into the proposed purpose-built wind farm for the Alberta school boards and some municipalities. This project we ran into quite by accident a couple of years ago. We found that the proponent was stating that wind is free, and that caught our attention. We've spent quite a bit of time studying climate science and, by extension, climate policy. So we found that in every other jurisdiction where renewables like wind power have been instituted, power prices have gone up, grid reliability has dropped off, and consumers bore the brunt of that. We do know that wind power is the most expensive form of power generation out there and the least reliable. We were concerned that perhaps the Alberta school boards were getting into something that they maybe weren't aware of. We sent them some letters, some documentation giving them our perspective, and they didn't seem to be very interested in it. So we continued to pursue it. We asked for a few FOIP documents, and we were very alarmed at what we got. We found that they were planning to sign 20 to 25-year power contracts. In addition to the wind farm power purchasing agreements, they would also have to sign a firming contract. This is to supply the power that they would be using when the wind is not blowing. We had questions: why is the Alberta School Board pushing a wind farm when there are many power providers and in fact power prices are at an all-time low? We found another document from the Market Surveillance Authority that was done in 2012 by Morrison Park Associates. They were looking into whether or not investors were interested in wind power investments in Alberta. And the answer was no, because the power prices are so low. So all these things just didn't really add up for us. In some of our FOIP discoveries, we found that one of the school boards in Alberta had done a complete cost-benefit analysis after they'd initially signed on, and then they backed out of the deal after that cost-benefit analysis. We wrote to the School Boards Trustees Association last summer and asked them to please look into this, and so far we haven't gotten a reply. One of the things that concerns us is this past week, the Market Surveillance Authority issued a report stating that spot power prices are now at an all-time low. When we reviewed the FOIP documents that we received, we found that the boards were being told the regulated rate option prices that had been going up as an indicator of the threat of higher power prices. Regulated rate options are what you pay as a consumer, not what a school board would pay as a wholesale buyer. So there are many questions that we have. Further to this, of course, the rural residents in the area where it's proposed to be built are quite opposed. We know that Premier Prentice has said that he's quite in favor of property rights. The people in the Provost area have protested the building of the wind farm because they see what's happening in Ontario, where land values have dropped dramatically. People have suffered all kinds of health issues because wind farm noise is not like traffic noise. It's quite persistent and also quite variable. There are many factors related to acoustics and infrasound. There are cases reported where people actually find it so bothersome in their home that they'll go into the yard and sleep in a tent. And that's the only way that they can sleep. And then the noise doesn't bother them. But that means that your house is now worthless to you, and probably worthless to anyone who comes to buy it. So these are all factors that I think Albertans should be aware of. Most of the wind farms built to date are quite far from people's houses, and that's not the case here. In closing, we're concerned that this isn't the most practical or economical notion at this time when Alberta is facing significant drop in oil prices and when education across the province is crying out for facilities. Why are we building a wind farm?